back again for another live stream. How's everybody doing today? Or this beautiful Saturday afternoon? Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you're enjoying the holidays. Hope you're where you're supposed to be with your friends and family. Hope you're all enjoying your time together. But if you're not alone in this holiday season, that's okay. That's all right. You're never gonna be alone if you have God with you. And if you don't believe in God, well, spiritually, if you're not spiritually in tune with yourself, well, just so you know, you're never alone when you are alone. There's always somebody out there that's looking out for you. I'm just enjoying this beautiful Saturday afternoon, late Saturday afternoon. It's been a while since I talked to you guys. I'm still having my cigar Saturday. It's Romeo and Juliet, Dominican roll cigar. See, that's my new thing now. Ever since I got old, crossing 50. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a nice little cigar on a Saturday. As long as I don't get too addicted to it, I'm good. I wanted to holler at you, y'all fellas last week, but I had shit to do. But that's okay. I'm here with you guys right now, and we can talk. And I was watching a video, and I came across a clip of Crystal Gale Mango. Now, y'all fellas probably don't remember this bitch, but this was the bitch that was responsible for shutting down the Duke lacrosse team and had them boys hemmed up on charges, which were eventually dismissed, but ruined the lives and careers of everybody, including that punk ass Michael Nifon. And I'm gonna get to him in a little bit. Well, it turns out that the bitch lied. The bitch actually lied about being raped. Now, I was having arguments with my family members and family members who actually believed this bitch. Now, I didn't believe this bitch in my bones, but, like a punk ass, I went with it. It actually gave her the benefit of the doubt that possibly something could have happened in that house where the rape occurred. Now, let me just set up the scenario if you don't know. Now, this bitch was a stripper who booked the gig with some Duke lacrosse players who had a party. And they just wanted strippers over, black strippers, whatever strippers. I don't know what they were into, but they were into black women. And I'll get to that in a minute. Because they couldn't find any white strippers, or they probably wasn't interested in white women. A lot of white men are not really that into them, and they're not really that into white women. They're just there to just reproduce with them bitches and get married, reproduce with them, and divorce them after 20 years. And find another and trade up. Make some money and trade up. That's why you got these old white bitches up here hitting on black men. Flirting with hitting on black men. I know because I've experienced it, man. I've seen them white bitches, man. I've seen them old white bitches down south. They're up there looking at me like a steak, man. I'm like, well, no, I'm cool. You're the bitches that are married. They be trying to check. They be checking for brothers. Okay? So they set it up where these strippers came in there, they did their job and they left. For some goddamn reason, this bitch wanted to say, hey, these boys raped me. Okay? Now, her story, the reason why he got dismissed because she couldn't identify who actually attacked her. Great. I can't say the R word. I gotta say great. Excuse me. S-A. Forgot this is YouTube. So, they couldn't identify who did it. And all in all, everybody that was woke back around the mid-2000s shut down, suspended these boys, kicked them out of school where they had to transfer to another school. Reputations lost. Coach got fired. The lacrosse coach got fired. Duke was under sanction. Now, think about this. This bitch was going to school at North Carolina Central, a black college. Excuse me, an HBCU, because there's no such thing as a black college. Okay? Went to an HBCU, and of course, a lot of these bitches at that time, especially these bitches now, well, now they have OnlyFans, so that's the only way they can pay their way to school is to show their ass on stage. All right, taking money from men and showing their ass. That's why I always look at these women in corporate America and in these jobs a little bit side-eyed, because how did they pay for their school? Showing their ass. Showing their ass to a whole bunch of men and taking money from them. And that's what that bitch did for a living. They were in the sex industry. Bitches can get away with that shit. When you're in the industry, they can get away with that shit. Bitches can get away with showing their ass, showing their titties and ass. And you know, pretty much prostituting themselves. But they always get in the reason. But that's life. I'm not complaining about it. That's life. That's the way it is. That's the game. That's the way it is. Don't hate the player, hate the game. And I can't hate the game because that's just how it is. Okay? So fast forward 18 years when this bitch caused all this destruction. 18 years later, now this bitch, and I think I did a podcast about this bitch who murdered her boyfriend. And now she's sitting in prison, I think about 25 to life in prison. Sitting in prison right now, rotting away in prison for murder, second-degree murder, down in North Carolina. Okay? And I think that's the result of her. I don't know what kind of psychological issue that she was going through, but that bitch was crazy. That bitch was crazy to make up the story like that. And that bitch was crazy enough to kill her boyfriend. Excuse me for a minute. I gotta light up my stove. All right, I'll be right back, guys. Yeah, now it's much better. Now the bitch killed her boyfriend. I did the story. I did talk about it in my other podcast. I can't remember the details, but yeah. All in all, she was convicted of second-degree murder, and now she's rotting away in prison. Okay, and like I said before, there must have been some psychological effects that happened in that trial when she accused those boys, and even before that. I don't know her history. I don't give a fuck. But now, 18 years later, in a clip of an interview she did, admitting that she lied. And I was correct. I was correct in my instinct. I was correct. And the prosecutor, and the guy Michael Neefound, who was the prosecutor at that time, he knew that bitch was lying, and he was disbarred for it. He lost his law license. Can't practice law in the state of North Carolina ever again. So let's go over the scenario of why I thought the bitch was lying. The bitch was lying because you gotta understand, first of all, she's a bitch. Bitches lie. Bitches lie about bullshit. Bitches lie. Bitches will lie to your face on anything. I gotta tell the truth, but this bitch is lying. Why? How do you know? Oh, yeah, when they tell you they love you, they're lying. They tell you that they're interested in you, they're lying. Because it's always something. It's never unconditional with these bitches, unless it's their child, and even then they have to cut the debt. They'll lie to you about who your father is. They lie to you about what your father being a bum. They'll lie to you about, I'm a virgin. I've never had sex with this guy, and it turns out they did. They're ingrained in lie to a man because they do not like men. They're programmed not to like men in this country. You go outside this country, you don't see that shit. You don't see the disrespect that women have for their men. Okay? Now, it's slowly coming. It's catching up. Don't be fooled. It's slowly catching up. the modern ways of the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Europe is spreading all over the world. Okay? But I'm 50 years old. I may have another 40, 50 years on this planet. I would say I have a good 20 years. Hopefully, knock on wood. I have a good 20 years of living. But I'm not going to be bogged down crying over no bitch. But I'll get to that in the second half of this podcast. Okay? Now, the bitch lied. Now, that's number one. She's a bitch. Number two, she's a bitch that's in the sex industry. She was a stripper. All right? This wasn't a doctor. This wasn't an attorney. This wasn't a regular woman, working woman, who have no reason to lie about being raped. Okay? And another thing, why? Let's go back to number one on the reason why. You know how many great cases that get overturned after years and DNA evidence because of a bitch lied on the brother? That's what why do you think Rosewood happened? You go back to the movie Rosewood, it was caused by a bitch lying. All the destruction, all the chaos, every chaos, confusion has been caused by a woman. And it doesn't matter what race of woman they are. A woman, if you allow her, if you believe everything that she said, will cause chaos. chaos and confusion. Think about it. Merlin Santana, he was shot to death. This brother was murdered over a lie of a bitch. Sent some niggas over to shoot, to delete this brother for no reason, only because he didn't want to fuck with her anymore. And then you got this punk ass Terry Crews up here saying, "Believe all women." No, motherfucker. No, that's something you never want to do. Yeah, have my sister come over here having some man put her hands on her. You better show them. You better. What did you do? What did you say to this brother? Why didn't you leave him alone? Why am I going over there whooping his ass or putting my life in risk? But brothers, that's what women do. They cause chaos and confusion. And you go back to Crystal Mangan, cause all that chaos and confusion. 10 second, a 1 minute apology, expected to be forgiven. Now I know Jason Whitlock, he sees something religious, Christian about that. It's all forgiven. See it in her face. Apparently her life has changed and it was affected. Her life was affected by it. Oh, let's go back to another example. Let's go back to Brian Banks. I did a video on that years ago, 10 years ago, about how this brother was locked up 20 years ago behind the lie of a bitch. Ruined his college career. Sitting in prison for 10 years. It got out of prison, had to register as a sex offender. And then had the nerve to come back and apologize to this brother. Thank God he had it on tape. Where he had to go to court and had the conviction vacated. Didn't get any compensation for it. But the bitch got compensated because of a lie. She got $1.2 million from the Los Angeles School District because citing poor security because she got raped she got raped on campus. The lies of a bitch. The lies of a bitch. Okay? And you, and fellas, you still want to marry these bitches? You still want to have sex with these bitches? You up here talking about, I would pay them to go away. You pay a bitch to go away. Where you get that? Where did that statement come from? You pay a bitch to go away. You don't pay a bitch to stay. Okay? Man, I'm glad I crossed the 50-yard line of life. I'm at 50 right now. Went through chaos and confusion because of a bitch before. As soon as I turned 51, no mas. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good, player. I'm just gonna enjoy my cigar, doing live streams and possibly go back to doing videos for you brothers, and just enjoy my life. I wish I had my Scotch whiskey because it's fucking cold on this balcony. But what the fuck did I expect? It's December. It's winter time. Winter solstice. It's winter time now. Today is officially winter. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be here at 50, to talk to you guys, and enjoy my Saturdays with y'all. This is therapeutic, as Black Ram 313 says. Everything is therapeutic. And I want to talk to you brothers about, and that's probably going to be on a video I might do, or a podcast, not a video, because you ain't going to see me. But I'm going to do a podcast. Just a mini podcast, man. Just letting you know what's going on. I'm going to talk about the black man's dysfunction next time, because we are some dysfunctional beings, especially in this country. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those pro-black back to Africa motherfuckers. I actually love being in the United States. I appreciate it now, despite its history, despite its tragedies. It'll allow you to have a good life here, and if you allow it, if you're smart. I have a friend. She's from Montenegro. She's a white chick, big ass titties. That's my client. That's my tax client. So we always hang out, but nothing's going on because I don't fuck around with my clients. I want because I want my money. As soon as I do a service, I want my money. I ain't trying. I don't want your pussy. I don't want your worn out, stank pussy, bloody, stank pussy. I want my money. Okay? And that's how your brothers should be thinking from now on. Y'all. And then I was just thinking about it on my walk to the cigar shop to get my cigar. And I was just thinking about Dr. Umar and his punk ass, all right? So his punk ass pro-black back to Africa, talking about brothers should be marrying black men, black women. And I call bullshit on that because I don't even think he believes that shit. Not entirely. I think he believes, no, let me take that back. I think he believes it, but he's not really critical in his beliefs. He's not critical in his conviction. You got to remember, this man, let's look at his background. This man has 2 babies with women that he's never been married to. How come, Dr. Umar, how come you're not married to these black women? How come you're not married to the black women that bore your children? Okay? And let's think about the other side of the coin. Who are these women having sex with and born children with? Men that don't value them. They don't value them enough to marry them. Okay? I did a video about it. It went somewhat viral about women with multiple children, with multiple men is the destruction of the black community. I did that podcast about about 12 years ago. 12, 13, maybe even 14 years ago. I don't know. But I still stand by it. Because we're moving away from traditional marriage, traditional family. You know, the men in the marriage, that the men in his family is now an outlier. We're not significant in the role of family anymore. So, what are our options? What are our options? See, I've never been married. I don't have any children. So the only options I have is either get my passport and go overseas and try to find a woman that, you know, that checks all the boxes, or stay here, find a woman that checks all the boxes except they have children from a different relationship. Never was married, but just have children. See, I would date a single mother if she was married before, if I believe she was wife material. Well, not now. Right now, the children got to be out the house. At my age, if I'm married, if I'm going to go after some aunties, the children got to be out the house. I'm sorry. They got to be out the house living their own lives. Okay? But that's an outlier. The men in the family are an outlier. We're not significant. And that's one of the reasons why I've never married. And that's also one of the reasons I've never had children, because I didn't want to have children and not be there in the house with my children watching them grow up. See, white guys, they get married, they find a woman to have children with and get married to. We do the opposite. We just don't marry them. And Dr. Umar, he's not an exception. He's also a part of the problem. Because he should be, instead of focusing his piss and vinegar on guys like me who may want to entertain a snow bunny or two every once in a while, talking about all that black wealth. He's really talking about, when he's saying black wealth, money, he's really talking to the athletes and the entertainers and possibly successful businessmen who worked hard in college, worked hard and successful in their career, and made a ton of money, and they had that snow bunny by their side. He's talking to them brothers. He's not talking to the UPS driver that has a white trash meth head bitch by their side. He's not talking to them. Okay? He's talking about guys like me. Okay? Now, he should be focusing, if he really cared about the black women, he should be focusing on brothers who just impregnate these women and leave them hanging. Because I have relatives, female relatives, that are in that same position. Okay? All I hear them talking about black men with snow bunnies. Who the fuck cares? I don't care. I don't care about that shit. I don't care who you date. I don't care who you marry. As long as that woman. Now, preface this. I believe black men and black women should be married to each other. That's one point I agree with. And by statistics, that's what we do. We marry each other when we do get married. I think Coach Greg Adams did a great analysis about different races of women and how they react to brothers. White women as a whole, they're not thinking about a black man. Unless he's over 50 and never had been with a black man, or they just want to have sex with you. They're not thinking about marrying. Trust me on this one. Very few white women want to marry a black man. Maybe in the city, but he talks about where most of the white folks are. They're in these pocket cities in the middle of nowhere, where they're not nowhere near a major city. And it's almost like they're hiding, or they just going off the grid and getting away from us. Primarily in those red states. But you know what? I'll go into it a little bit more next week, all right? Because I got shit to do, and I'm just happy to talk to you fellas for a few minutes. And I don't want to keep you too long, all right? I know you got shit to do, and I got shit to do. Well, listen, I got to run. I finished my cigar. I got to run. I got a party to get to. And I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Saturday. Enjoy the football games. Enjoy the college football playoffs. Hope you make some money on FanDuel. Enjoy your life, fellas. All right, this is Talking Crazy 88, and I am out of here. And black men, let's be careful out there, all right?